Well, South Africans are losing faith in the criminal justice system. That's according to a study by the Human Sciences Research Council. It found public confidence in the police has dropped significantly in the past 10 years. People feel let down by the slow wheels of justice, and victims are often left in limbo. Let's get more on this. Our reporter Silindelo Masikane following this one for us. So, Sili, just talk to us about this slow justice system and how South Africans feel.
Well, from what we understand, of course, Shahan, following that report from the Human Sciences Research Council that looked into policing, overall, when it comes to the wheels of justice, it seems that South Africans are not really satisfied with how slow it is. We all know the term justice delayed is justice denied, but we know that when it does come to the judicial system and how it operates, there are a number of factors and there are a number of entities that are involved, starting with policing, with investigations, and ensuring that a docket is well prepared in order for the National Prosecuting Authority to be able to take it to court and have a successful prosecution. And so when it comes to these entities actually collaborating and cooperating, over the past couple of years, it does seem as though that's been hampered by a number of factors, not only what the accused is able to do in terms of their rights according to the Constitution, but there are different factors that do delay the processes. Let's take a listen to what one legal expert had to say around what causes these delays.
There's certain procedures that needs to be followed before a matter can actually proceed to trial. So if the investigation is not complete, obviously the prosecutors will send the matter back for further investigation if they're not happy that with what they have currently on the docket, that they will be successful in prosecution. That is one of the things that can delay. And it's also the defense can also bring a number of applications to enforce their rights, which is made provision for in legislation. And over the last 2 years or 3 years, more or less, give or take, we've also had to deal with the COVID pandemic, numbers in court, and also our old problem of load shedding, because I had a couple of trials in the past 2 years that could not proceed because of there's no electricity for them to actually record, so that transcripts is available after we've led evidence so that you can look at it. So there's just some of the things that can actually play a role in why trials is delayed or not proceeding as fast as people would want it to happen.
And so obviously in terms of how things work, before cases actually go to court, investigations must be completed, and thorough investigations at that. And only then does the NPA decide whether there is a strong enough case. The police play an integral role here.
A very crucial role. And what the Human Sciences Research Council has found in their recent study is that trust in policing is at its lowest, its record lowest. It's the lowest it's been in 23 years. And since the dawn of our democracy, what we've been seeing happening with the police services is not only a mass exodus of skilled police officers and detectives, but issues around leadership at the top, whether we have the right officials leading the police services, because that kind of leadership also filters down to the ground. Not only that, but we know there are resourcing and staffing issues within the police services that hampers this. But what we know is that public trust in the policing services is at its lowest, and those numbers coming from that report. Let's take a listen to what one of the researchers had to say about this.
Now, what has happened over the last 10 years is the trust in the police at a national level has fallen substantially and is currently at its lowest level for the entire period. Indeed, this is actually worse than it is, because the South African Social Attitude Survey has data going back to 1998. And even if we look at that data, we find that contemporary trust in police is still very, very low. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that trust in the police is its lowest level in 23 years, and that we have seen a significant drop between 2020 and 2021.
Also, another issue is around judicial processes being abused or manipulated. What's the finding there?
Maybe if I give you some examples that can put that into context, you know that we have the former President Jacob Zuma before the courts, but he was charged back in 2006, 2007 with fraud and corruption. However, still today, that particular trial hasn't started. And what most experts have labeled this approach is something called the Stalingrad strategy. And this is when somebody who's in a powerful position, who has resources, access to money, who can drag court processes rather for an extended period of time, uses the judicial systems to basically weaponize it to their advantage. So we'll find frivolous applications, meritless applications being done, possibly legal teams being changed frequently. So they constantly have to have an application to have their lawyers, sped up or reading court documents, which takes up the court's time and frustrates the system. A most recent example as well is the Senzo Mewiwa murder trial, where we see that from the time a crime or a case is brought before the police and the time it makes it to the courts, there's been so many years that have gone by that it now places a breeding ground for conspiracy theories and speculation and issues around possible political interference in these matters. So the issue around court cases actually being wrapped up quickly is very crucial in order to actually restore then public trust in the judicial system.